Good morning, everyone. Today we would be discussing about various complement pathways that are involved in the immune system. So the learning objective of this lecture is you will be getting to know the different complement pathways that are involved in mediating the immune response against any infection. You will be getting to understand the various mechanistic approaches and the various proteins that are involved in the cascade of these very complement pathways. Along with that, the multiple proteins, how they are basically getting activated so as to mediate the killing of various infectious entities, that would be covered. So, starting with the topic, first of all, we need to dig into some history of this complement word. This complement proteins, they are basically a family of more than 30 proteins that are present in the plasma, that are present in the serum onto the cell surface. And what happens is they interact each other in a very sequential manner so as to produce biologically active inflammatory mediators so as to provide the immunity against any cell injury and or in case of any tissue injury. However, the research in this phase, in this area, it was started in the year 1890 when a scientist named Jules Bordet at the Institut Pasteur of Paris, he conducted some experiments onto the sheep antiserum. From there, he isolated a different kind of proteins that he found that they are involved in mediating the immune response. At that time, it was named as alexins. After that, after many research theories or many research statements were given, and a scientist named Paul Ehrlich coined the term complement. Now the point is why these proteins are being called as complement. The basic reason is it is named as complement system because it was the first report in which a heat sensitive component or heat sensitive protein from the serum was isolated, and that was showing the equal activity to that of antibodies that are basically involved in the killing of bacteria. Because the action was complementing the antibodies, that is why these proteins were named as complement proteins, and the pathways or the mechanisms they were being followed, those were named as complement pathways. Now these are serum and cell surface proteins that provide the defense against many kind of pathogens and infectious entities along with the tissue damage mediated by antibodies. This complement system, this complete pathway, it is a major effector mechanism of humoral branch of immune system. As you know, in the case of immune system, in adaptive immunity, there are two mechanistic approaches that plays a role so as to trigger the immune response against any infection. That is humoral immune response and cell mediated immune response. And these complement pathways, they are the part of humoral branch of immune system. However, it plays major role in both the case of innate immunity as well as adaptive immunity. So these 30 proteins that are present in the serum, where it is synthesized, where is the location, how they are acting, what are the steps that we need to know. So the site of synthesis is liver. All of these proteins are synthesized in the liver, but they are synthesized in the inactive form, or you can say they remain inactive throughout the till the infection is not encountered. After the infection is encountered, they get activated by proteolysis during their interaction in a very sequential manner that we would be discussing. However, these complement proteins are also being released by certain blood monocytes, tissue macrophages, epithelial cells of our gastrointestinal tract or reproductive tract. So all of these regions are basically the sites of complement protein production. Now the point is, what are the general properties of it? First is it is present in serum. However, it is present in the serum of all animals, but the concentration of these complement protein is found to be higher in the serum of pig. However, these complement proteins of one species are able to interact with the complement or antibodies of other species, but due to some extent. However, all these complement proteins, they constitute about 5% of the normal serum protein concentration. All of these proteins are glycoproteins, and they are synthesized in response to some inflammation. Hence, they are also known as acute phase proteins. They are heat labile, or you can say heat sensitive, because they get inactivated if they are exposed to some temperature above than 55 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. They get inactivated and their action is prohibited there. They binds with the Fc portion of immunoglobulins. Immunoglobulin stands for antibodies, and of which there are two parts we know about it. One is Fab region and other is Fc region. And these complement proteins, they get bind with the Fc portion of the immunoglobulin so as to trigger the response. Now the point is how these complement proteins are basically acting, how they are basically clearing out the pathogens, or they are involved in the killing of those very pathogens or infections. In that case, these are the three mechanisms, that is lysis of cells, either it can be bacteria or allograft or tumor cells. Second is generation of pro-inflammatory mediators, and third is opsonization. As you can see in this diagram, this is the first effect, that is lysis. In this case, what happens is, suppose this is the target cell or a pathogen, these complement proteins would attach to the surface of these target cell and it will create pores. As you can see here, the cell membrane is disrupted and the pores are created, and through which these complement proteins lyse the cell and it kill this cell. Next step is opsonization. Opsonization means such kind of mechanism in which a particular bacteria is pressed towards the phagocytosis process, or they are exposed to the more phagocytic cell, so that a large response in terms of phagocytosis can be happen. So in this case, as you can see, this green colored, this is a bacteria, and this triangular shaped structure, these are known as complement proteins. These proteins are attached onto the surface of bacteria. Once it is attached, it will move these bacteria to the phagocytic cell. This is a phagocytic cell, as you can see. And after this, phagocytosis process would be triggered. As you can see, the membrane, the pseudo, with the help of pseudopodia, both of these branches are trying to engulf this bacteria. And after that, with the help of phagocytosis, this complete bacteria would be degraded. Along with that, the another function is generation of mediators of inflammation. That means it can activate the inflammatory response. In that case, what happens is it bring about the inflammatory pathway. So I suppose there is some tissue injury. Suppose you happen to drop onto a nail or anything, or a very sharp thing. In that case, if some tissue injury is happening, at that very site there is redness, there is swelling, there is some light bleeding. In that case, why there is swelling? Because all our leukocytes or phagocytic cells, they start moving to that tissue injury site so as to protect the bloodstream from infection. In that case, how the neutrophils are acting? In that case, these complement proteins, they attach to these cells and they initiate the process of extravasation, that is capillary infiltration would be happening, vascular infiltration would be happening, and the increase, due to the increased seepage of fluid from the blood into the tissue, the swelling is happening. So this complete process is mediated by complement proteins. Another is, if there is a situation that these complement proteins are attached to an antibody, in that case this is the antigen antibody complex. In normal language we call it as immune complex also. Sometimes if some immune complexes are already circulating in the circulation, in that case these complement protein again activate the phagocytosis pathway. And here you can see this yellow color cell, a phagocytic cell. It is its pseudopodia is trying to engulf these immune complexes so as to clear this antigen from the body. Now, if you talk about complement system, the main pathways, these are 30 serums as and cell surface proteins, and they are designated. What is the nomenclature, how they are being named? In that case, all of the components that play a major role in the complement pathway, they are designated by numbers. For example, C1, C2, C3, C4, C9. However, this nomenclature, it is proceeded in the case of classical pathway. Or you can say, if the numbers are there, or you can also name these components as factors for by letters. For example, factor D, factor B. So this is the nomenclature part. However, in the serum they remain in the inactive state, and they will only get activated when one of the primary, or you can say the initiating complement protein, is activated by proteolysis. There are some complement receptors on which these complement proteins bind. These are cell surface receptor, and they are recognized by activated components. However, there are some regulatory proteins of the complement also present both in the serum as well as in the cell surface, so as to minimize the effect of complement protein in case it is showing some exaggerated activation. Now the complement proteins, they are basically activated by proenzymes, that is by cleavage. We are taking just basic example. Suppose this is the C4 protein. Every complement protein is degraded into two segments, that is C4A, as you can see in this example. C4 is fragmented into, or you can say it is cleaved into C4A and C4B, in which A part is always a smaller fragment. That way the size would be smaller as compared to the B part, and it is basically involved in the diffusion. However, the B part is the larger fragment, and it remain bound to the microbe. This nomenclature, this cleavage is applicable to all the complement proteins that are involved in the cascade. However, there is one exception to it, that is C2 protein. Only the C2 protein of this complement pathway is such a protein in which the two fragments that are formed, C2A or C2B, in which C2A becomes the larger fragment and C2B is the smaller fragment. However, this is not in the case of normal other proteins, in which A is the smaller one and B is the larger one. We have to remember this thing, and we have to keep this thing in mind, that this C2 is the exception, that in this case only a larger fragment is present in the A segment and the smaller fragment in the B segment. Next is, what are the pathways of these complete complement activation? There are three main pathways. First is classical pathway, in which it is an antibody dependent pathway, and it is basically activated by soluble antigen antibody complex, or whenever a specific antibody it binds to the antigen that is being expressed onto the target cell. Another pathway is alternative pathway. It is also it is an antibody independent pathway, which is basically stimulated in response to some antigen, or you can say the bacterial cell surface components. The last pathway is lectin pathway. It is also antibody independent pathway, but in some of the steps it shows resemblance with the classical pathway. These three pathways, the major difference in these three pathways is only the classical pathway is antibody dependent pathway, and rest of the two pathways, they both are independent, antibody independent pathways. So if you talk about these three pathways, there are three main steps that are common. The first step is recognition of the pathogen. Second is enzyme activation, that means the complement proteins activation. And third is the biological activity, that means biological activity either in the terms of lysis or in the case of opsonization. Of these, the first two steps are in the first two steps, in all these three pathways, there are unique proteins involved in it. However, the third step, that is the biological activity, in that case, some common proteins are involved that basically help in mediating the killing of the pathogen or infection. Now the first pathway is classical pathway. This classical pathway, it plays a major role in case of adaptive immune system, because the major factor in this very classical pathways is it is dependent upon the formation of immune complexes. That means antigen and antibody complex. The main point is, if this pathway is to get activated, in that case, in the circulation, antigen antibody complex has to be present. In that case, this is the antigen, this red one, and this blue one is the antibody which is bound to these antigen. When this antigen antibody complex is formed, in that case the first protein that is involved in the classical pathway is C1 protein, of which it is having three main segments. This yellow colored structure, this is C1 protein that is involved. In that case, you can see there are C2, C4, they are getting cleaved. But the point is how? First step is antibody binding to the pathogen. So the first protein, that is C1 protein, will bind to the Fc portion of the antibody. This is the C1 protein. It is divided into three main subunits, that is C1q, C1r and C1s, of which the C1q, it comprised of 18 polypeptides and it have 6 different arms with globular heads. As you can see, these are the globular heads. You can count it: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 arms with the globular heads, and with these heads the Fc portion of antibody is attached. And in the normal case, the antibody which is attached to these globular heads, those are either IgG or IgM. As you know, IgM is a pentavalent immunoglobulin. In the second point, there are two main another subunits, that is C1r and C1s. In this case, these C1r is present in 2 number and the C1s is present in also 2 number, and they are activated only when the C1q, it bind to the Fc portion of antibody. That means if this is activated, only then these two proteins would get activated. So after the attachment of this C1 protein onto the antigen antibody complex, a planar structure of antibody is formed. This is a planar structure of IgM. As I told you, the most commonly used immunoglobulin that bind to the complement proteins, that is IgM or IgG. In this case, there is no C1q binding site involved. If it is not exposed, how the C1q protein will bind? Whenever the C1q protein structure is it is always bind to the this antibody, in case when the antibody is showing staple structure, something like this, so that at least 3 sites are exposed to the C1 protein. Now this is the reaction steps, that how this classical pathway gets activated. As you can see, this is a pentameric planar form of IgM. First of all, this pentameric IgM antibody, it will bind to the antigen. This is the cell surface of a pathogen, or you can say a bacterial surface. When this antibody will bind over it, it will form a staple structure. That means now whenever it is present in the bound form, the 3 sites are exposed for the C1 protein. In that case, this C1 protein then will bind to this single IgM molecule. As you can see, the Fc portion is being bounded by the globular heads, these yellow ones. Now it is bound. This is the case of IgM. Now the another antibody that can bind with the C1 protein, that is IgG. So this is the IgG. IgG is a monovalent antibody. In this case also, this is the bacterial surface on which this red color antigens are present. This blue color monovalent Y-shaped immunoglobulin is coming and it is attached to it. Now the C1q will bind to 2 or more IgG molecules, because it is not pentavalent in structure, it is monovalent. So at a time, many C1 proteins will be able to bind it. So this first step is recognition, which is either in the form of IgM or in the case of IgG is proceeded here. Next is, once this protein, this C1 protein is bind to the Fc portion of antibody, the next step is the other 2 parts, that is C1s, the subunit of C1 protein, that is C1s, will cleave the C4 protein. That means activated C1s will be cleaving this C4 protein of complement pathway, and the cleavage would be happening in two subunits, that is C4a, C4b. And you can see here, when this pink color C4 protein is being cleaved, C4a is the smaller segment and C4b is the larger fragment. C4a protein will go into the circulation, it will diffuse, and C4b protein will remain bound to the microbial surface. After that, this C4b protein is present on the bound form. This activated C1s protein will also cleave C2 protein. However, this C2 protein, it is an exception, because in this the A fragment is larger one, as you can see here. So this C2 protein is again attaching to the C1s segment, and it is being cleaved into two parts, that is C2b and C2a, of which C2a is the larger one. Now what will be happening to the C2a? The C2A will remain bound to the C4B protein, that is bound on to the microbial surface. So here you can see it is attached. This complete complex, that means this C4B, C2A, this is known as C3 convertase. Why we call it as C3 convertase? Because when this complex is formed, this C3 convertase is formed, as the name suggests, it will be able to convert the C3 protein. So here the next step is C3 protein would be coming, and it would be cleaved into two parts again. So this C4B, C2A will bind to C3 protein, as you can see here, and it will cleave it into two parts, C3A, C3B, of which C3A is the smaller one and C3B is the larger one, and it is being attached to the pathogen surface. Till now, this is the formation of C3 convertase so as to cleave the C3 protein, of which two parts that are being formed. C3b is an opsonin. What are opsonins? Opsonins are those molecules that can bind both to a bacteria or to a phagocyte. It can be an antibody. For example, IgG antibody is also an opsonin. In case of complement protein, only C3b is a protein segment that act as an opsonin. And in this case, whenever a microbe is being attached with this C3b, the phagocytosis, the opsonization process, it increases the phagocytosis process by phagocytic cells by 1000-fold, because the opsonization is basically triggering the bacteria or infectious entity towards phagocytosis. So back to the complex that this C3b segment was attached. Right now there are three complement proteins that are attached to the microbial surface. This is the microbial surface on which C4b, C2a was present. Now the C3b is also present. Now this complex C4b, C2a, C3b, as you can see here, C4b, 2a, 3b, it function as the classical C5 convertase. So as the name suggests, C5 convertase, that means it will cleave C5 protein. So this C5 protein is coming, this C5 protein is being attached to this complex, and it is being cleaved. So again, it is being cleaved into two parts, C5b, C5a, of which C5a is the smaller, C5b is the larger. Now the main part is formation of membrane attack complex, because currently we are just talking about how these proteins are getting activated, how they are getting cleaved. Now the point is, if these all proteins are getting activated and they are getting cleaved also, then how they can lyse the cell, how they can clear out the and bacteria. The point is, all of these proteins, after activation in a sequential manner, they create pores into the cell membrane of microbe, and those pores are known as membrane attack complex. So how these membrane attack complex, how this membrane attack complex is being formed? So this is the C5b protein. Till now what we have discussed in the previous slide, this is the pathogen and this is the cell membrane. Now the point is, to the C5b protein, C6 protein will attach, then the C7 protein will attach. Once these three proteins are attached, these three proteins will adhere to the cell membrane in this manner. So once these three proteins are attached, the next protein, C8 protein, will come and it will attach to this complex, and the last protein, the C9 protein, it will polymerize. That means many number of C9 proteins will attach in a fashion that a membrane attack complex will be formed, and it will create a pore like this. So this is the and after creating this pore, from this pore, the many these pores would be created in the cell membrane, and the cell would be lysed. So all of these proteins which are involved in this classical pathway, these are the functions and active components. This is the brief summary that C1 protein, it comprises of three subunits, how they bind to the antibody, it activates C1 as C2, it is cleaved into two parts, of which C2b is the classical activator enzyme to cleave C3 protein and C5 proteins. So all of these functions I have discussed in the previous slide. This is a brief summary of it. C5, C6, C7, C8, 9, of which C9 protein is basically involved in the polymerization and the final formation of channel inside the cell membrane of your pathogen. However, this C5a protein is the one who is basically involved in mediating inflammation and anaphylatoxins. It also acts as chemotoxin so as to trigger the inflammatory complex. So this kind of pore is created. This is the cytoplasmic part. This is the phospholipid bilayer. These are the complement proteins that are arranged onto the surface, and due to which the fluids are being rushed out of the cell and the cell is lysed. So this complete complement system, it is basically happening in these three ways: activation, amplification, and biologic function. And the amplification is basically triggered by the formation of membrane attack complex formation so as to lyse the cell. So in summary, if we say, suppose this is the bacteria, this is the cell surface, this is an antibody that is bound to it, this is the C1QRS protein. So the steps would be starting like this. First, C4 protein would be cleaved into two parts, C4b, and this is the C4a. Next, C2 protein would be cleaved again in the two parts, C2b and C2a. After that, this is the C3 convertase complex that has been formed. It will cleave the C3 protein into two parts, C3b and C3a. Now the C5 convertase complex has been formed, and now the C5 protein would be cleaved. And after this is complete, after this thing is complete, after that membrane attack complex formation would be happening. For that, C6 protein would be coming, C7, C8, and last C9 protein would be polymerized to form the attack complex. So this was all about classical complement pathway, in which the major amplification is basically happening in the presence of C3 convertase that cleave the C3b plus C3a. In the case of classical, it is known as C4b and C2a, and in case of alternative, the factor B is there instead of 2. So these are the functions of the C3a and C5a proteins that act as anaphylatoxins so as to trigger the inflammatory response by binding to the mast cells, and they basically trigger the release of a chemotactic factor, histamine, so as to recruit the neutrophils at the site of injury. Another pathway is alternative pathway. It is also known as properdin pathway, and it is a major effector mechanism of innate immunity. However, it differs from the classical pathway because it is an antibody independent pathway, and this pathway is quite slow in the action as compared to the classical one. And the molecules of C3 that undergo cleavage at the continuous low level in the normal plasma. So this is the activation, that how this is happening, because the entry point is C3 protein. Normally this C3 protein, it contains an unstable thioester bond. That is why it is being cleaved into two parts, C3b and C3a. This unstable bond will cleave this protein into two parts, C3b, C3a, and mammalian cells contain sialic acid, which inactivates the C3b proteins also. However, when this is cleaved, at that very point, this C3 protein will go on and it will attach onto the surface of foreign cell, and it will further attach to a plasma protein known as factor B. As I have told you in the starting slides, that the nomenclature is that you can either name the complement proteins with the numbers or with the letters. So in the alternative pathway, we are naming one complement protein as factor B. So this factor B will be attaching to the C3b protein, and as soon as it will bind, it will expose the site of another enzyme site, that is factor D. So at this point, as you can see, now the C3b and factor B is attached. The site for factor D is exposed. Once this factor D would be binding, it will cleave this factor B into the two parts. So these cleavage is basically B, capital B small a and capital B small b. However, the complex that is formed here is C3b capital B small b, and this is known as C3 convertase. The C3 convertase of alternative pathway that will further trigger the pathway. So this is the complete steps. C3b, the factor B is coming, it is being attached. Now the factor D is coming, it is attaching here, and it is cleaving this factor B into two parts, that is capital B small b and capital B A. After that, the C3 convertase step is complete. The C3 would be again attaching to this complex and it would be cleaved. However, this step is will keep on cycling here. Here the amplification step would be happening because the C3 protein would be attaching to it, and it would be cleaved. So the smaller fragments are here and the larger fragments are being attached here. So this is a phagocytic cell that is named as macrophage, and these receptors, the C3b protein, will attach to the phagocytic cell with the help of these complement receptors so as to trigger the killing. However, there is very important point over here that there is a factor known as properdin. Properdin, it is a protein that is basically involved in stabilization of the C3 convertase enzyme. Because if the stabilization is not achieved, in that case this pathway may not proceed further because the complete amplification step will halt there. In that case, this pink color structure is known as properdin, that is providing stability to this C3 convertase so that the rapid amplification of this C3 conversion can took place. Next is, after this formation, this C3 amplification, this is known as C5 convertase that has been formed. C5 convertase, similar to that of classical pathway, again it will trigger the cleavage of the C5 protein. This again it is being cleaved into C5a and C5b. Now once this C5b is formed, it will attach to the microbial surface, and again in the similar fashion to that of classical pathway, you can see C5b is attached here, C6, C7. These three will form a complex. It will attach to the cell surface. C8 protein would be providing stabilization, and the polymerization of the C9 protein will result in the formation of such kind of pores. So these are the respective functions of different kind of proteins that are involved in the alternative pathway. What are their active components? What are their functions? For example, C3, how it mediates inflammation, how it bind to the cell surface so as to promote the opsonization. Factor B, it will bind to the membrane bound C3b, and then factor D, how it is being involved in providing formation of C5 convertase, a protein known as properdin that is providing stability to the C3 convertase. So this is the complete overall summary of this alternative complement pathway. That first starting point is C3 protein. It is being cleaved. C3b protein will be binding to the factor B. This factor B is formed. After that, C5 protein would be coming, it would be cleaved, the C5a is formed. After that, the steps would be repeating in the similar fashion as classical pathway. C6, C7, C8 would be binding to it, and after that, the rapid polymerization of C9 would be happening so as to form the membrane attack complex. So this is the second pathway. Third pathway is lectin binding pathway. This pathway is again antibody independent pathway. You do not require any kind of antibody so as to get activated. And why we call it as lectin pathway? Because first of all, what are lectins? Lectins are special kind of proteins that bind to the specific complement targets, specific cell targets. And in the case of lectin binding pathway, the activation is basically triggered by mannose binding lectin, because we are using a mannose binding lectin, the lectin that will bind to the mannose residues residing into the cell surface. That is why we call it as lectin binding pathway. And this mannose binding lectin, it shows similarity with the C1q. In the starting slides also I told you that there are some resemblance, there is some similarity between the classical pathway and lectin pathway. That resemblance lies in the structure similarity between the C1q in structure and function. That is the first starting point, because the first step in the activation of lectin pathway is the binding of mannose binding lectin. This mannose binding lectin, to bind these MBL lectins, we need some protease, and those proteases are known as MASP1 and MASP2. You can say MBL associated serine proteases. So these MASP1 and MASP2, they have the same structure and function similar to that of C1R and C1S subunit of C1 protein of classical pathway. That means both of these protein would be involved in cleaving of C4 protein and C2 protein. So this is the complete step. These are the complete steps. Activated MASP2 will cleave C4. This is the first step. Pathogen surface, and with the onto the antigen, this MBL protein is attached. These are MASP proteins. First of all, it will be attaching to C4. It will be cleaving it. C4b is attached. Now the C2 protein would be coming. Again, the exception is there. Larger fragment is C2a. It is being attached. So this is the complete formation of C3 convertase. The steps are same to that of classical pathway. The only difference is the starting point of mannose binding lectin. After that, the C3 convertase is formed. C3 will be cleaved. After the C3 is cleaved, the next step would be C5 convertase formation. So this is the step. These are the steps. First of all, C4 would be binding, then C2 would be binding, it would be cleaved, then C3 would be binding, it would be cleaved, then this is the C5 convertase that has been formed that will cleave the C5 protein, and these C5 proteins will then further resulting in the formation of membrane attack complex. This last step of biological function is same in all these three pathways. That means C6, C7, C8, C9 proteins are doing the same function in all the three pathways. The C9 protein is amplified, and this is the complete step. MBL MASP1, these are the carbohydrate moieties, that means mannose residue. It is cleaving C2 and C4. These segments are cleaved. This is the formation of C3 convertase. It is cleaving the C3 into two parts, and you are getting C5 convertase. After that, you are getting a membrane attack complex that comprises of C5 to C9 proteins. C5b, C56, 7, 8, 9. These are the proteins that are involved in the formation of membrane attack complex. Now, that means this is the summary of these complete three pathways of complement activation. This is the classical pathway on which C1q is the starting point, lectin binding pathway, MBP protein, that is mannose binding lectin, alternative pathway C3 protein. What are the C3 convertases? In classical and lectin binding pathway, the C4, C3 convertase is same, but the alternative pathway, the C3 convertase is different. However, the steps are same, the functions are same. It is being converting this C3 into C3A and C3B that act as anaphylatoxin, C3A part, and C3B is involved in the opsonization so as to trigger the phagocytosis. After that, C5B, again it is being cleaved, and the last step is membrane attack complex. Once this membrane attack complex is formed, basically the cell injury is happening to the pathogen. So this is the complete stepwise fashion that how they are getting amplified and which step they are basically activating. This is one and the same thing, but each and everything is displayed here. This is the C3 convertase, C5 convertase. Here it is being triggered to opsonization, and here C3A is being triggered to inflammation, cell migration and activation. This last one is the membrane attack complex formation. That means cell lysis is happening due to the pore formation. So from here we can discuss, we can basically interpret the fate of all these complement pathways, that how they are basically involved in mediating the immune response against any kind of pathogen. So these are few videos, and there is one video and one lecture content related to this lecture. This is the reference to the book that you can refer. These are the MCQs pertaining to this session, that what we have discussed about these three pathways, what are complement proteins, which of the protein is basically, involved in the membrane attack complex formation, and which of the steps are similar in all the three pathways, or which of the proteins are involved as mediating or acting as mediators of inflammation, which of the proteins can facilitate opsonization and phagocytosis, how they are, and at what steps they are showing some similarities. So all of these things are covered in this lecture. This is uploaded on LMS. You people can attempt from there. Thank you very much for listening.